As you can see, we have an energetic program. I'm glad that you all could join us. I'm very excited to see what's coming up. I do also want to echo KT's or Karen's acknowledgement for the Department of Planning and the Department of Aging for joining with us today to put on this program. Before I go through any comments, I'd like to invite Ewing, because I don't see Secretary Peters here, and Dina, come on up from Aging.
Hello. I think Secretary Kramer is sorry that she couldn't be here today, but one of the things I want to say is that I think this committee did a fabulous job not only acknowledging the history, Women's History Month, but women in general and our future. So congratulations to all of you for a wonderful job, and we should celebrate not just once a month, every day. I celebrate every day, right? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Ewing McDowell, Deputy of Planning. This is a wonderful event to celebrate the most important people in our lives. Every single day, women touch our lives. And thank all the organizers and the attendees here. And have a great day. Thank you.
Where would we be without the help of some very industrious, talented, supportive women? Where would we be? Think about that. There are so many unsung heroes. Mothers raising and nurturing children, members of the workforce, women that are doing both jobs, raising families and working, supporting their family. There are those that choose traditional roles and those that celebrate and choose careers. We have many generations of women who are encouraging and have made it possible for us to pursue our own careers.
Well, it's definitely nice to look out to this audience and see women working alongside men. You know, we take that for granted. It's a fact that didn't always exist. It's easy to forget that throughout history, women have had to fight for equal rights. Our struggles for the right to vote, the right to work, the right to own property, the right to determine our own future. It's a centuries-long story. It's also an inspiring story of resilience, determination, and courage. And it's the story of generations of trailblazing women who questioned the status quo, who opened the doors to opportunities traditionally reserved for men, and who broke through glass ceilings. We stand on their shoulders. American women's struggles for equal rights began with years of the first Europeans' arrival here. In 1647, for example, Margaret Brent, a Marylander, was the first woman to demand the right to vote. The statement she made when she appeared before the Assembly was, "Taxation without representation is tyranny." It was 2 centuries later before her demand for women's suffrage was taken up again. The movement began to gather strength in the 1840s. In 1848, Lucretia Mott and Elizabeth Cady Stanton organized the first Women's Rights Convention in Seneca Falls, New York. Ms. Stanton wrote the Declaration of Sentiments, creating the agenda of women's activism for decades to come. By the early 20th century, women's rights were a hot political topic in many European nations and in the United States. It wasn't until 1920, however, that the 19th Amendment became part of the US Constitution, 273 years after Margaret Brent appeared before the Maryland Assembly. It states, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex." It's ironic because women in America made important contributions to the war effort. Women filled essential jobs that had been left by men going off to war. Indeed, Rosie the Riveter, with her "we can do it" attitude, was a propaganda tool by the government to recruit women for traditionally male factory jobs. Women also played a large role in the military, which had never seen the likes of women in the ranks before. Unfortunately, Rosie the Riveter, the perfect woman worker, didn't last long, and her image was consigned to the history books. Most women, if they had been involved in the workforce, ended up returning to the housewife role during the prosperous 1950s. Nonetheless, the women of this war era workforce demonstrated that we can do it. Future women came along to prove it. In the corner office, in the operating room, on the factory floor, the space shuttle, and others. Women's rights got their next shot in the arm with the women's liberation in the 1960s, when interest in women's issues and women's history really began to expand on a national level. In 1978, in California, a Women's History Week was established to coincide with International Women's Day on March 8th. 3 years later, largely due to the vigorous efforts of our own, Maryland's own, Senator Barbara Mikulski, Congress passed a resolution establishing National Women's History Week. And in 1987, Congress officially proclaimed March as Women's History Month. We got a whole month. I look at all the women in this audience, and I'm inspired. I see diversity of cultures, professions, and ambitions. Look around, look what do you see? You are setting examples for future generations of women to keep striving, succeeding, and forging new paths of opportunity.
Good morning. Good morning. All of the things that we figured out to do, how to do as women, we still haven't figured out how to be two places at one time. I apologize, I'm happy to be here, proud to be here with each and every one of you to certainly recognize the impact of women. To each and every one of you, women, and their support system, and others that are here as well, I thank you for what you do each day, embodying the true spirit of a woman, creating, nurturing, empowering, just plain getting the job done. Yeah. Thank you very much. Although we've had a lot of successes, we know that as we go forward each day, our strength is not measured by the challenges that we face, but our ability to face those challenges. Go forth, have a great day, and let's conquer it all.